Hi, Abby. First of all, I wanted to thank you so much for your video response to my food addiction video. And I wanted to make this video in response to yours because I think you made some really good points when you were talking about food addiction yourself. So, as far as hormones go, right on. I mean, I am surprised that there haven't been more studies and more people trying to make the connection between food and hormones, or not food, I guess, but it's between people who overeat or who are obese or morbidly obese or overweight and hormones. Because people who don't have hormonal problems or who don't have bad PMS or don't um, experience any major changes, during that time of the month, or men, don't experience the same kind of hormonal changes that we do, can't possibly understand what it's like to have that kind of takeover. I mean, you literally lose complete control of yourself. I mean, your mind and your body become a slave to these hormones that are telling you that you want to eat everything. And, sometimes when during that time of the month, I literally cannot get full from eating. And my body just keeps telling me, I want to eat, I want to eat, I want to eat. My mind is overtaken by feelings of wanting to eat. Hormones are a huge part of this whole food addiction, and I would not be surprised if they came out with a study that proved that people who are overweight or obese or morbidly obese had some kind of hormonal imbalance, or were more prone to having PMS or something of that sort, just proving that hormones are more prevalent in their lives than maybe in other people's lives. I totally think that that is a possibility. I'm not a doctor, so I can't even pretend to know what that type of connection that would be, but I would not be surprised if there was one. The other thing you were talking about, which I found kind of incredible, was eating disorders in general. And it's crazy that you say that you kind of studied it and you're kind of obsessed with it, because I always watch videos on anorexia, bulimia, combinations of the two, just other types of unhealthy eating habits, because I think it kind of teaches me more about myself. And I feel like when we're talking about anorexia and bulimia, there's a I think there's a pretty big connection between people who are anorexic and bulimic and people who are obese or super obese, or people who have food addiction. We are people who have a bad relationship with food. We either kind of see food as the enemy, the food as, I mean, I guess the enemy is the only word I can think of, for anorexic and bulimics, or we see food as something that we know we have to have, but we just can't get ourselves to do it because we have issues with self-image. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, which would be the food addict, we see food as our friend. I guess in a way, we see food as something that makes us happier, and we overdo it. We don't know how to control that part, and we have a poor self-image in general. I would say that most people who have eating problems, eating disorders, have a warped self-image, and they have a warped relationship with food. And I think it's so funny that we can make that connection between two really opposite types of disorders, because we're doing the opposite things, but it's all stemmed from the same type of relationship. We just happen to love food, they happen to hate food, that type of thing. I mean, obviously that there's more to it than that, but just to make the relationship with food is obviously where it all comes from. And I don't know where my relationship with food got screwed up. I think a lot of it had to do with who I am. I like food. I enjoy eating food. I always have since I was a little baby. My mom said I liked food, and then it also has to do with how we're raised to how we're trained and raised to deal with food and our relationship with food. When I was younger, I have an older sister and a twin sister, and my two parents. And when they would make dinner, if you didn't get everything you wanted the first time around, you didn't get any more. So I would take way more than I needed, gorge myself basically, and that there goes my portion control, That's my portion control problem right there. I used to get afraid of not, like, my mom would go to the store and get, like, Swiss cake rolls or something like that, something I liked a lot. And I would be afraid that I wouldn't get one. I would literally be afraid that I would not get one. So I would, like, take two and eat them, or take one and hide another one. Like, really, really bad relationship with food. And, I think about that, and I thought about it a lot when I was trying to lose weight on my own. And, I've gotten better with that. I've not, like, with leftovers and stuff like that. I used to hoard them, like, nobody touch my leftovers, because I loved it, I liked it. And now I'm like, oh, I don't want those. I don't even care if we take it home, And I'm glad that I've been able to get past that part of it, but there's so much more to it. And people who think people are overweight just because they overeat and that's their only problem are naive. And people who think that anorexics and bulimics are thin just because they don't eat and that's their only problem, that's not true either. I think we're very similar. I think we can learn a lot from each other. That's why I study eating disorders and kind of try to find the happy medium. And that's the hard part. It's like you were saying, you're afraid you're going to over control, and I'm afraid of that too. I've thought about that. I when I was really overweight, I like, when I'm eating food, that's when I crave food. When I was on my liquid diet, I didn't crave food at all, not at all. And I was like, well, man, I'll just do this forever. That's not healthy, obviously, but we're very similar. That's pretty much all I had to say. I'm sure there was more stuff, but I don't want to ramble on forever. So thank you again for making your video response. If you have anything else to say to what I've said, I'd love to hear from you. And if not, I hope to hear from you soon with an update, hopefully. And your son is really, really cute. And I will talk to you later.